Ba-na-na-na. What's up, everyone? Scott Brent coming to you on this beautiful, what is it, I don't know, like, I thought today was Wednesday. And I also talked to a couple other people that they're like, I thought it was Wednesday today. And I'm like, I don't know, I guess we're all on the same wavelength when we thought it was a different day than Wednesday and whatnot. But today was a good day. Had a couple get-togethers with some good friends. Just hung out and built relationships. Talked about different things, and I think that's one of the things that I look at is I've got things that are here and whatnot. They're sliding off my lap. It's good times, but it's interesting because I was talking to a good friend of mine, Q, and we were discussing the fact that as humans, we're social creatures. And that's one of the things that many people are missing out on is that connection piece, that social aspect piece with individuals, having those, building those relationships. Because the technology is nice if you've utilized Zoom, which I think 99% of the population has had to utilize Zoom in one way or the other. It's nice to see faces and whatnot, but the issue you run into is it's not that actual physical connection. It's beautiful to think because they've done studies and your mind, when it is searching one eye, actually looks for faces. And so if you think about it, you're looking at the clouds, a lot of times you'll see a face in there. I've heard people that will be looking at trees and whatnot and like see a face in the tree. And so the power of your mind trying to find something very similar, something that it's used to seeing and having that connection piece with people. But it's one thing that we're really missing out on. So it's been good to be able to be around friends and just have that social connection and whatnot. So one of the things that Patrick and I have recently spoken on, and we'll put out more information with this, but we're looking at Saturday. We'll be doing an unboxing of Pokemon cards. So we had talked, and just ultimately, it's just another avenue that we were discussing of being able to bridge different audiences. And when we look at what we're doing, like there's nothing that's going to hold us back. There's nothing that really keeps us from being able to connect with different audiences. So it'll be interesting because that will be this Saturday. I think we're talking about doing it at like 10:30. But if you know anybody that their kids are big in Pokemon, one of the things that we're doing with it is as we're doing the unboxing, unwrapping, we're giving them away. So I grew up wanting to play, but never got a chance. And then Patrick, he jokes, he's like, I'm Asian and never experienced this, so I have no idea. And so it's just one of those things that unwrapping cards, if you ever unwrap sports cards and whatnot, it's you just never know what you're gonna get. It's like Christmas, and so it's just a nostalgia because a lot of people, if you go look, it's one of those big things that are trending right now with Pokemon cards coming back to the forefront because people our age, when they really took uh, flight and grew and whatnot, was when a lot of us were young teenagers, young kids. And so it's a nostalgia, but it's unique. So I'm excited for that. Just a little different aspect of 2NS, just having fun. And it's not always about business, but it's the building the relationships, having fun, and finding different ways to put a smile on somebody else's face. And Patrick had shared a post that he had typed up. And once my phone decides to flip here, what are you doing? So Patrick had talked about 2020 was a very challenging year for everyone. For business owners and entrepreneurs, it taught many how to pivot and think outside the box. And I think that's been the biggest thing that really has stuck out with this year with the situation that we're dealing with, everything going on. We as individuals really have had to find ways to pivot, to go in a different direction, to keep building businesses, to keep doing what we need to. But pivoting has been huge. And so I would ask for yourself, you truly got to take a look and do a deep dive. And with your situation, who you are as an individual, did you really take advantage of what was given to you? Some people will be like, man, this was a big pile of horse shit. Some people will be like, man, there was a lot that came out of it. It was a blessing, just big things that took place. I know a lot of people have found a another level that really they never considered tapping into. And I look at it with social media, doing lives. I think a lot of people are missing out on an opportunity with a platform that's free to really showcase who you are, to really showcase what you're about, and letting people really get to know who you are as an individual. For whatever reason, people are fearful. I see individuals that will be posting things on Facebook, and I'm like, man, you could go and take that and create it as a live, create a video, because writing, it's hard. Think about a text message. You get a text message and you're reading it, and maybe you read it wrong, and then you get mad at somebody because you had misinterpreted and read the text message wrong. And so it's the same thing with the aspect of you've got information, and instead of sharing it as a post, even though that's a good thing, but you know what? When you're looking at these posts that you're posting, there is a chance for a lot of great content that you could create out of the posts that you have originally. And you can start breaking it down and start sharing different pieces, doing different things daily, and really open up the doors for people to see who you are, to get to know the true self, and lets people see behind the curtain. Because I look at it, and based on a lot of just what I take in when I talk to individuals, is the fact that people are scared to do a video, to do a live, because they can't get the feedback, they can't get the body energy, they can't pick up what the audience is thinking, and so they allow that to hold them back instead of showing up, showing people your true solid self, and let people get to know the true individual. And it's just another thing that a lot of people are overlooking and missing out on a great opportunity with social media. I understand some people are fully against social media. You have a lot of people that are putting up these fake fronts and don't share both the good and bad. The thing that it comes into, the bad part, whatever you consider bad, you're looking at it, it may not be a bad, maybe that's how you're looking at it, but it's a story, of message, it's something that you have, that's a gift that you can share with somebody else, with a larger audience. Because social media, you could potentially reach somebody that's in Australia. You can reach the whole world with social media, depending on what country it is. But you can you can reach a very large audience, and you have a message that somebody else may truly need to hear. And you can take the fact, because I see a lot of times of people will be like, well, I'm posting this because somebody else may need to hear it, to read it and whatnot. But I would take that as an opportunity to take that post and share your experience, share how you look at that situation, because that could be the unlocking that somebody needs when they hear how you word it, how you bring that to life, how you're looking at it. Because I look at the opportunity that if I'm sharing something, and I always highlight this at the end of a lot of the videos too, I tell people, I'm like, if you're watching this and there is a different perspective that you have based on what I share, I would love to hear, because you know what? Hearing your perspective is part of that learning process. It's part of that education piece. And there is the chance that you're seeing it differently. And if you share it, it could be a little key nugget in there that somebody could pick up and see it and be like, man, I haven't thought about it that way. And it's just one of those things that the power of social media, the power of something that is free, just understanding how the algorithm works and how to get in front of more people, create more engagement. There's a lot that goes in there. And I'm grateful for both Patrick and Jasper with what they do with social media, sharing those tools and tips. I just jump on and do the lives and just go forward and whatnot. But it's the aspect of it, social media. It's being social, but a lot of people don't use it as social. They're whatever they they're not bringing the value. They're not bringing something that can change somebody's life for the better and whatnot. And I laugh because my mom ended up getting me a book. Shout out to my mom. I shared a video with her, and she's watched Dr. Joe Dispenza. So this is who wrote this book. It's called Becoming Supernatural. And Joe Dispenza, if you've never listened to him speak or heard his workshops, it some of the stuff that he talks and shares, man, it can go over your head, because it's the aspect that there's a couple things in here. Let me see. So the one thing that he brings up here is with the expanded human potential, because there is so much potential inside all of us. We've just got to tap into it, and that's where I talk about the power of your tribe, the power that you surround yourself with those individuals, because they could potentially see the potential that you have inside of you before you see it, and they can help extract that. And it's a beautiful thing that if you can start getting on track with your potential and knocking that out of the park, man, that is huge when you're fulfilling your potential, becoming limitless and becoming uh, past those limiting beliefs, those stories that you have, shifting those stories, shifting your mindset and whatnot. It's huge. But it is one of those things that it takes work. It's one of those aspects that it's a continual process. You're going to get to one level through personal development, growth, whatever it is. And then trying to get to that next level, you're going to have to build upon what you've already done and do more to get to that next level. And that's the aspect of being a human. It's the continual learning process. It's being a continual student. You'll hear the fact, and Patrick and I have talked about this, and we've always tried to find another way to think about this, but you need to surround yourself and end up being that low man on the totem pole to help out with that, being a student, continually learning and growing and progressing, because that's what life's all about. It's experiencing life, it's living life, but it's growing and progressing and bringing things to the table that others may not bring because of our uniqueness. And so the question here is, it's shifted from what is possible in our lives to how do we do it. So think about that. what's possible to shift in that to how do we do it? How can we get to that next level? And you can look at it when it comes to starting a business. How is this going to succeed? What steps can I take? What is it going to look like when I succeed? It's interesting because I've talked about the fact that you'll have people that want everything perfect. And they're like, no, I can't do it yet. I can't go and do it because it's not 100%. It's only 80%. Man, if it's 80%, you better not hold back and try to wait till you get to 100%. You better go put whatever it is into the market, into effect, and continually shape it as it comes out to the market. And there's a term, it's called MVP, most, not MVP, I'm blanking here, least viable product. And so that's just bringing out the prototype, whatever the idea, even if it's not fully there, you've got to bring it, because if you're waiting for it to be 100% and you want to bring it to the marketplace or bring this idea to life, you may miss out on an opportunity. Somebody may grab hold of that idea that you may not have even shared with them, and they're like, oh man, this is great. Let me put it into effort. Let me put it into effect. And boom, right there, here we go. And it's interesting how people have an idea, have a product, and they're waiting for it to be 100% instead of going and putting it out there and running with it. The fact that you're scared your idea is going to be stolen. This is the thing that we have to understand. Like an idea, a lot of times products or service, a lot of people are like, oh man, I got this product or service that's going to go take care of this. But have you gone and done the research and really looked to see what the problem is, and then come back, create the solution, and then bring the solution to fix the problem, to help solve the problem? Too many people go about it this way of, let me construct this solution, let me bring a product out, and then it's going to solve this problem. Are you sure about that? You need to understand the problem and then go do what you need to and then bring it out. But it goes down to the fact, because I had seen somebody post a comment, they were asking a question, searching for some different things, and they brought the fact that they're like, well, I'm 80% sure, but I want to make sure it's 100% before I bring it out. And I'm just thinking to myself, I'm like, oh man, you're going to end up missing out on a big opportunity, because how long is it going to take you to get that other 20% to get to 100%? If you got an idea, just bring it, run with it. But it's this fear factor and whatnot. And so it kind of goes into play with what Patrick had talked about, where businesses and entrepreneurs really had to pivot and figure it out. But there's so much that goes into play where people will try and wait for the curve, the change to come and take place before they start moving to get in front of it. And by that time, they end up getting ran over and rolled over and whatnot. It's the aspect of the continual growth process, the continual looking to see what you can do better, what can come out, looking for those relationships that are going to be the aspect to help you reach that next level. It's the continual learning, it's the continual being a student, and going out there and doing what you need to. But oh man, people just wait. And I think that's kind of kind of how the catchphrase for us, with myself especially, is let's go. It's freaking, this is go do it, let's go. And it's funny because just some different ideas running through is, let's go with the imperfect action. Man, just go do it. It's, if it's not perfect, cool, that's great. Go out there and take that imperfect action. Don't be scared and whatnot. But too many people have this idea that it's got to be perfect and whatnot. And then there was another thing. Let me see. So it's unique how the power of our lens, the power of how we see stuff, what we think, the story that we tell ourselves, that's very impactful with how things turn out. And it's one of those things that you've got to rewire and you've got to look at the stories and the thoughts that you have and change those, because it is a powerful thing. And so in here, the circumstances of our lives exist as they do because of consciousness itself and the way we think of ourselves in our world. And man, it's that's with the whole coaching piece for myself when it comes to working with individuals within different relationships. The biggest relationship that you've got to work on and you've got to have strong and really have rooted and grounded is that relationship that you have with yourself. It comes down to the fact, and I tell people that you got to complete yourself. Other entities, other parties are there to complement you. So if you're looking outside of yourself, you're gonna really miss the boat because you're searching for things that you're probably not giving yourself. And so if you're desperate for love, searching for love, but you don't truly love yourself, how are you going to find love? How are you going to be in that boat? How are you going to be where you need to? And so this is kind of a question that I had posed on Facebook today, and just love the interaction, seeing the different thought process, seeing how people view that question and what really is that baseline, that focal point for them and whatnot. So it's very interesting. But it's also the aspect that people are looking for ways to have like real conversations and just have those talks. And it's just one of those pieces that you've got to go and utilize. And let me see. I think there was one other thing, maybe. Nope, I think that was it on that. So, but if you're another book, I've just started reading it, but information in here. It's Becoming Supernatural by Dr. Joe Dispenza. It is one of those things that what Joe talks about can kind of be overwhelming and really potentially screw with you because he's bringing research out that he had highlighted the fact that when he started writing books and when it came to his research, he was scared to rock the boat because he was concerned about what other people think. And so, being in the scientific community, he was fearful about what the normal scientists would think about his information with what he's presenting. But then he talks about as he's progressing and he's getting the research and he's getting the documentation and he's getting the information to back what he's done. He's like, you know what? If they don't like it, that's cool. And so it's one of those things that I really talk about is you either love me or you hate me, but there's no in between. And Jasper had shared that she's like, at first that was kind of a negative connotation because of her experience and when she's heard that before. But then she had talked about, she's like, you know what? Getting to know you and know who you truly are, how you speak on you either love me or you hate me, there's no in between. It's a different stance than what she's seen before. And for me, it's one of those biggest pieces that I'm not going out there and trying to get validation by other people. I'm not trying to get the praises of other people. What I speak on and what I share may not be for that individual. And if you don't like it, cool. Like I'm not gonna lose sleep over it. I'm not gonna be upset about it because not everybody's meant to be part of my journey. Not everybody's meant to be part of getting to the higher levels, getting to different locations, working together to create massive change And so that's where it's come down. And it's ultimately the fact of just showing up and being my true self, not having this fake mask on, not being my pseudo self and trying to appease everybody, because that's very tiresome. If I'm worried about trying to appease everybody and I'm putting out energy and not maintaining my energy, it's not a good thing. And so this may be something that somebody needs to hear. Maybe you're constantly in the driving mode of trying to make everybody happy. Maybe you're out there and you're driven by getting the validation of everybody else and you're not being true to yourself. And that can be a tough thing because being true to yourself sometimes leaves you on your own island that nobody's visiting. And so it's getting comfortable with yourself, being comfortable with being the only individual that's standing on the island, and then just being firm, having the posture, having the belief in whatever it is for yourself, your product, your service, your ideas, whatever it is. But it's standing firm and maintaining your belief in yourself. Because if you don't believe in yourself, it's not going to be easy for other people to believe in yourself, because you're going to have these stories, you're going to have these thoughts, you're putting out this energy that people are picking up. And so if they're picking up that you don't believe in yourself, why would that drive that, or why would that motivate that individual that's feeling that to believe in you? And so it's one of those pieces that it's tough, because sometimes we may have those negative stories that creep up, and that voice in your head's telling you, oh, you can't do it. Nobody else in your family has done this before. You've had mistakes. Like I tell people, my biggest thing when I went through my divorce and before I got to where I'm at now, but the biggest thing that I battled with was I'm not worthy. And by having that belief, that mindset, that story I was telling myself, feeding into my heart, my spirit, putting that out to everybody else. And so if I'm not worthy and I don't believe I'm worthy, why would somebody else see the worthiness in me? Unless that somebody is just very open minded and very, let me hold space for you and not judge you. And so that's one of the driving forces too when it comes to coaching and working with individuals, is creating that space for somebody, giving that space to somebody else. And it could be the first time where they've met with somebody that doesn't judge them, doesn't create a space where they feel judged, that they can't be true to themselves. Because ultimately, we all want to be who we were meant to be, who we are, but we're at a point where we're trying to play these games and show up as our fake self, as our pseudo self, because of what the belief system has been put into us, the beliefs that have been stuffed in our head, and it can be tough. And so it's just one of those things. It takes work. For me, a lot of it came from personal development, but also looking and surrounding myself with people that really accepted me for who I was. And truly having that love for me, and just showing up and whatnot. So if you got information from this, you got nuggets, you got value from this, share the video, share the YouTube link, share it with somebody else that you know that they may be struggling. You know, somebody else that could really thrive and find that one nugget for themselves that they need to make that change, have that 1 degree of change to project and have that trajectory going in another direction that they need to go. But share away. Don't judge, and you just never know who needs to hear this message. But the only way that somebody's going to hear this message is by hitting the share button, sharing whatever it is. So if you have anything, if you have any questions, you have something in your heart, you have something in your mind, you have an idea, you just don't know what to do, and you feel like you're on your own, you don't have that support system, you don't have the people that truly see the potential in you and believe in who you are, reach out. send myself, send Patrick a message. Go to Two Native Sons, the Facebook page, the Instagram page, send us a message that way. But don't hesitate. We're here ultimately to help people give themselves grace, to see the greatness that they have in them, and be there for those individuals that have the big dreams and don't know what to do. Or it's just you're at a point in life that you just feel stuck and you need somebody to talk to. Reach out. Do not look at this as if I reach out, that's a sign of weakness. No, that is not a sign of weakness. That's a sign of strength and showing that you're at a point where you're limited just based on your life experience, how you look at things and whatnot. So reach out. Do not be scared. No judgment. We're ultimately just here to be the individual that helps you get to wherever you're trying to go and whatnot. So other than that, thank you guys for your support. Appreciate individuals that have stayed on and watched the whole live. And anything that you took away from this, leave a comment, leave any aha moments, anything that resonated with you. If there was something that, like I said, you're looking at it in a different light, share that. I would love to hear that. Don't be scared that if it's a difference of opinion, don't be scared. Share away because that's ultimately how we grow. That's how we learn. That's how we expand is looking at those differences and seeing if there's something that we're missing. But other than that, I'll catch you guys later. You guys it's midnight now, so have a great Wednesday. I'll catch you guys later. Love you. Peace.